My TV.
Welcome to Unjustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now and hit the notification bell, and that way you will receive all of our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope you enjoy today's video. Hello, everyone. Every 2, 1.
I know, right? I think it's just us.
Yeah, hey, there may not be no insomniacs left in the world, girl.
No, Sharon's on there.
Sharon?
Or she was.
Yeah, I see that. She's been there. Well, hey, now we just us now. That's okay.
Right?
We're insomniacs. We're in the night owl kind of people. We sit and chat on the phone all night. Hell, we can sit
I
and
know,
chat.
right?
Yeah, they can sit and listen to the replay. So I just find it really amazing that people in true crime is not complete insomniacs and night owls like we are, Nellie.
I know, right?
I know. It's like I've always said I got a little bit of vampire in me. Well, I also have it set to subscriber only, so.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah. Let me see what we got going over here. Okay, so Sharon, now you're the only one that we can see in here, so.
It shows 10 now.
Don't forget to vote in the poll, y'all, because I'm kind of curious about what everybody thinks. Right now, we got like 4 votes on a 50-50. So that makes for some really good debate right there. And I love to hear everybody else's opinions, why they think differently than me. I'm going to, I think it's accidental. And then I talked with my sister on the phone. She thinks it was intentional. So there's me and her sat and talked for like 3 hours, Nellie, about that.
Did she listen to the 911 call?
She did. She did. And she listened to it back to back to back. And she was even cleaning it up so she could hear it right. And she still thinks it was intentional. She thinks that since she gave up everything and she's seen Casey was surrendering with his hands out the window, that she's seen no reason to continue because, he was gone for life and she'd give up everything for him. So, I mean, that's what she thinks. I don't. I think the 911 call made it sound very, in my opinion, she did not sound like a woman wanting to die. That's my opinion.
Well, no, because she was freaking out about the airbags going out.
Yeah.
Going off.
Yeah. And that's, that's what I told my sister. And she was like, yeah, but that was before she was seeing Casey surrender. Like she told him, let's just get out and run. And instead of him doing that, he just chose to surrender. And that's how she's looking at it. And I can see her point. I can see how she's feeling that way and why she sees it that way. That's just personally not the way I see it. Also, this whole why did she call 911? Well, I don't think she did. I think it was OnStar, and there's another one. It's not called OnStar. It's something else. I can't think of the name of it right now, but for a fact that it will go off and you not even know it because it did on my husband's truck. When he hit a deer, he didn't even know he had it in his vehicle, so it's not like something he was paying for. Like he bought the used truck, that we buy used. we bought a new vehicle one time, and it just wasn't, I don't know. But we buy used vehicles. Well, he had bought his used truck. ironically, it's exactly like Chris Watts's truck. Just saying. But anyway, he wasn't paying for any OnStar or any kind of special thing in the truck. I mean, he wasn't paying for nothing like that. And then I don't know, like a couple of months after he got the truck, he was coming home one night and he hit a deer. And it messed up the front end of the truck pretty bad and everything. But the point I'm getting at is he was sitting there and his airbag did come out. And he was sitting there and all of a sudden he just hears 911, 911, what is your emergency? And he's like, what the hell? And it wasn't OnStar calling him. It was actually OnStar had immediately put it over to 911 or something. It may not even be OnStar. It may be this other thing because we've never used it before. We don't pay for it. But he was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just hit a deer. And he was kind of looking around like, who in the hell? But it automatically came on. And so Vicky was not talking to anyone when they kept saying 911. It's like she wasn't even comprehending they were talking to her. She just continued to talk to Casey.
Yeah, it was almost like she wasn't even acknowledging it. I don't think she knew they called.
I don't either. I still think the vehicle called, and a lot of people has even brought up things about OnStar saying, no, OnStar will not call 911. Well, I don't know if it's the OnStar service, but it is a service similar because I know they will. My sister said that in her vehicle, there was like a fly in there, and my niece is handicapped, and so she said she swatted at a fly on the dashboard, where the airbag is, and it went off in her car. And she's like, no, all she did is hit the dashboard, swatting a fly, to get it away from my niece. And it came up 911. What is your emergency? She said, I don't have one. I just swatted a fly on the dashboard. I mean, that's a little bit too sensitive.
Just a little.
But it happened, so I don't think that it was an intentional call to 911. Because she definitely was not acting like she had any idea they were on there. We got a few people in here now, girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been saying hi.
Girl, there is some night owls. We got Chick Tracy, Aussie Girl Jen, Bilby. Is that Bilby? Jay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get these half-vamp insomniacs out here. I know they exist. I knew they were out there somewhere. Now, y'all, I was just going to make a video, but I don't know. Me and Nellie was talking, and it was like, let's just go live because it's easier to, answer people's questions and stuff if you can look at them in real time.
Well, now we're 40-40 on an accidental intentional. 7% says someone else did it, and 13% are undecided.
Okay, good deal. I'm glad this is going. That gives us something to chat about. The undecided 19%. That's interesting. And intentional and accidental is
still the same, 38.
Right. Hey, Cody, good to see you here with us tonight. Hang out. For those of you that thinks that it is intentional, did the 911 call, I mean, what do you think about that? Because it's obvious to me, she did not want to go. But there again, like me and Nellie was talking about, my sister is on the intentional too. And all of that was said before Casey surrendered. Like, it's just, she gave up everything for him. And y'all just being honest here. Now, y'all have all seen how I have been very sympathetic to Vicky as well. I have. It's so sad. In my opinion, it is. It's sad. Why would she do this? Why would she give up literally everything she has? Because I believe when she walked out of her mother's or the hotel that morning, I think she had no intention of ever going back because she knew she couldn't, right? And if she gave up everything for him and she looked over after her telling him, let's just run, and he's surrendering, that's why my sister thinks it was intentional. Me, I'm thinking that she was freaking out. She had the gun in her hand. I think it was her that was more wanting to do this whole, we're just going to run and shoot, than Casey, just to be honest. She is the one that bought all the guns and she had all that stuff set up, like right after she sold her house.
Well, it was
Started,
reported that he said he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, but I guess when it came time to do so, he decided not to. I don't know.
well, my thing with that is it was reported, but until I hear him say it in an interrogation, you know what I'm saying? It's a grain of salt. They also came out saying he was showing no remorse. Well, I didn't see it that way. He looked pretty damn broken. And the difference of his mugshots from one day to the next was like horrific.
Dude, that guy looked different in every
Oh,
picture. I've never seen him look the same in any two pictures.
I know. He would have been, I mean, if he wasn't so tall, he would have been the perfect candidate to be able to disguise himself.
No kidding.
Hello, John. Good to see you this morning. See, we do got some insomniacs up in here. Allison? Yeah, that's what Allison says there, right?
Oh, yeah, they
Cops
sure can.
can and do. And until we see the interrogation of him saying that we was going to do, we planned this whole shootout thing, I don't believe it. I believe that, and even with that, I would still have to hear how he said it. Because Casey is very low IQ. That's the only way I know to put it. He would be extremely easy to use the read technique on, flipping stuff
The
around.
way I understand it is it was before this that he said he always wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. The way I understood from what I read was that that's how he wanted to go if he ever went.
Yes, he did in 2015. He was wanting to do.
And I think that's where they're getting that report from. From what I understand, I don't think that's the way I read it.
But
I
he's
don't
had
think it
so
was that
many.
he just said that.
Yeah, he's had so many opportunities. Like even in 2015, he had 2 Glocks, and he was surrounded when he wrecked that car. But he shot nobody. He didn't shoot any cops. He just sat in the car wanting a Marlboro and a sun drop and waiting on the other sheriff to get there and talk to him. And he just walked straight to his car and got arrested.
Now, didn't he shoot? It was reported that he shot the lady that he stole the car from, though.
Yeah, he shot at the door, and it went through the door and got her arm. He didn't intentionally shoot to kill. But he did shoot. He did shoot through the door, and it got her arm. Yeah, Sharon, that is the video I just put on my other channel. Those vehicles, a lot of people don't. I mean, there's some things about this that a lot of people don't know. Like, there is still speculation going around, and I noticed this, that they believe that the Ford, his attorneys have all been court appointed, Allison, every one of them. But okay, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the Ford Edge. A lot of people still believe that it broke down, and that's why they ditched it. That's not what happened at all. I mean, not at all. I put it all, there's a video I'm uploading now on the other channel, but it'll show you everything. But that vehicle, let me tell you what I think happened with that. Okay, she bought that vehicle the 26th, Now, keep in mind, they left the 29th. She bought this vehicle on the 26th, and she parked it in that parking lot, right, of the shopping center. And then she had gotten a motel very close to there, and that's where she had been staying. So she wasn't bringing that vehicle home, and I don't know how she got to work the 2 days prior. However, on the morning of the 29th, this was released early on, okay, very early on. And that's how they knew what vehicle she was in the beginning was that Ford Edge. And this is how they knew. There was a guy she worked with, one of the other jailers. She called him that morning, the 29th, and told him that she had locked her keys in her car and she needed a ride to work. So he picked her up and brought her to work. He said he thought it was weird, but he was going to help her. So he brought her to work. Now that tells me he is the one that seen that Ford Edge and knew that was her vehicle. So I think that's how they knew early on what kind of vehicle she was going to be in. Now, as far as why they ditched it, well, think about it this way. Look at the Ford Edge. It's orange, like this copper orange, right? And if you Google copper orange Ford Edge, there's under 1% of the Ford Edges that were that color. I believe when Casey seen that vehicle, he was like, oh, hell no, we can't do this. I know you tried and this, that, and the other, but look at the color of this and this damage here. I mean, this thing's going to be standing out like a sore thumb. We're going to have to get something else. That's why I think they got a different vehicle. The Ford Edge did not break down. They started taking back roads towards Evansville, Indiana. And when they found that little house on the side of the road that had the vehicles for sale where they got the truck, Casey said, there it is. I want that Ford truck or whatever. So he did. Now, the video uploading on the other channel, I'm showing you all the proof of that as well. But I'm just telling you right now. But he walked up to the door, $6,000 cash. He bought that Ford pickup. The owner of that truck said, there's no license plates on it. And he said, I don't care. I don't care. He's like, okay. So he pays him $6,000 for the truck. Hey, Vicky is right behind him, sitting there waiting on him to make this buy. She's sitting in the Ford Edge. And then Casey gets in the truck after he buys it and drives off, and Vicky follows him in the Ford Edge. Now, these two has got to be the dumbest criminals. I just don't know. How did they even last out there as long as they did? Because they were not trying to be, discreet or anything. I mean, she brings him up in this driveway. He gets out in all of his 7-foot glory and tattoos, and he goes up to this guy's door and buys this truck, and she follows him out, and then they go 10 minutes up the road, ditch this Ford literally in the middle of the damn road at a crossway and a back road, and take off in the truck. The truck's got no license plates. Somewhere along the way, they jacked some license plates from Tennessee and put on it. Because the cop at the car wash, when he was looking at it, and calling everything in, it came back to a Dodge Ram pickup truck. The license plates did. Now, for whatever reasons, that was not enough for that cop to say, yeah, this is weird. We need to check in on this. Now that wasn't enough. So car wash guy actually had to have it towed in himself. Wasn't enough that there was a Glock, lock in it, as well as the license plate coming back to a different vehicle in a different state. None of that was enough to actually check into it a little more. But yet the cops are wanting to take full credit for all of this.
Yeah, because all the cop says in the video, he goes, that's weird. I'm like, really?
Yeah, Dave, we still, I mean, have you heard? I've heard it was stolen too. I've seen that too. I've seen that the Cadillac come up stolen, but I've seen that reported one place, and then another place I've seen it reported that they bought it off of Craigslist. And so, but at the same time, in the sheriff reports now that I read out and showed on here, it literally shows that the car was Casey's. It shows his name on it as the owner of the car. 2007 Cadillac DeVille. It's got his name registered as the damn owner. I don't know how those two lasted out there as long as they did. And then they decide to get a motel right in front of the police department. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like they were wanting to get caught. I mean, the things they were doing was not at all. I mean, why didn't they already have something? She had this camping stuff, but she didn't have enough to do. I mean, a little bitty camp stuff. I mean, they didn't have much stuff to live off the grid. So what was really their main malfunction? What were they planning to do? It's like they were, I don't know, just playing with the cops. Like, psych, I'm right in front of you, you know. Hello, I'm gonna leave this truck here in this car wash bay. I'm not gonna take it to an airport and just leave it there in this busy parking lot. I'm not gonna take it to a shopping center. I'm not gonna ditch it on a back road near a car. No, I'm gonna leave it right here where I know all these cameras is, and I'm going to walk around out here with all my tattoos showing. I'm going to let Vicky pull right up beside me and pick me up. I mean, I'm going to leave the keys in the truck too. Now I'm going to do that because I don't want you messing it up trying to tow it around. I'm going to leave the keys in it. I'm going to leave this stolen license plate on it, so when you call it in, it's going to come back to a Dodge Ram. And just for good measure and a good bonus, since y'all know Vicky has a Glock as a service weapon, I'm going to leave the lock here in it too. I mean, what? Does that not sound to y'all like they were wanting to get caught? And can you believe that sheriff, he just continued to say, oh, this was a well-calculated and laid out escape, and he's still saying that. Like, if they think that was well-calculated and laid out, good Lord have mercy, us people out here in the true crime, they damn sure wouldn't try to want to find us if we tried to pull some stuff like that. I mean, they would never be finding us, I'm telling
They
you.
made a lot of mistakes. A lot.
My God. I mean, Vicky got an Uber. Did you know that? She got an Uber. Okay, they ditched the truck May the 3rd at the car wash, right? She already had the Cadillac, so I'm assuming they must have got that Cadillac that day. Now, there is reports that it was stolen, but then there's many out there that's saying that she bought it off Craigslist. I don't know yet. That really is kind of up in the air. But on May the 6th, I guess Casey was at the damn hotel. I don't know, because he's so tall and so easily seen. But on May the 6th, she got an Uber. She took her damn Cadillac to this place close to where they was captured and got the damn windows tinted in it. The Uber driver actually has reported all that shit. He was with her for like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes talking to her. And then he brought her back to pick the Cadillac up after she got the windows tinted in it. She did all that on May the 6th. 3 days later is when they got busted on May the 9th. And there again, not trying to be discreet at all. Just catching Ubers, you know? I mean,
some brazen criminals there. But criminals are pretty dumb sometimes.
yeah, I heard all the vehicles were paid for too.
See, that's
Now,
what I heard.
Yeah, early on, there was a report that the Cadillac plates come up stolen, and the plates well could have, because she was, for whatever reason, y'all. There's another thing that's dumb as hell. She had an Alabama license plate on the damn Cadillac.
Jesus.
A Lauderdale County or Limestone County Alabama plates on the Cadillac. I mean, it was, I'm telling you, they wanted to be caught. It's like, I think she wanted to be caught. I think not long after she did it, she was kind of like, man, I screwed up. I messed up. And I think she was doing, because Casey, I mean, he's like a 10-year-old and he's not going to pay no, I mean, he ain't going to know what the hell's going on. He's just he's following her lead, right? But the things that she was doing, the Alabama license plate, ditching the damn truck a couple of miles from where they're at, not even a couple of miles, a couple of blocks from where they're staying, leaving tags on it, Tennessee. It's like Hansel and Gretel. They were like leaving breadcrumbs. Yeah, it was. And then it's like, Nana boo boo, I'm right across the road from you in this motel.
That was stupid.
I mean, it's just like, what? And then the arrest warrants came out. They were getting Vicky for aiding an escape in the first degree, right? That was her warrant. Casey's warrant was escape in the second degree. But when they get him, and they get him in the arraignment, they're charging him for escape in the first degree. What? Escape in the first degree, and you can look it up on the statutes, has to be physical force or a weapon, forceful. He done none of that.
No, he just walked out.
Yeah, I mean, he technically he did not escape. He was let out the door by an officer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these inmates are told you are supposed to listen to these correction officers and do as they tell you and blah, blah, blah. And that's what he was doing technically. I'm just saying he knew what was going on. I feel like he did, obviously. But how they can get him for escape one, and I'll tell you where that's going. Escape one is a serious felony, right? Serious. So with Casey, now escape two, if I'm not mistaken, it don't hit on the high felony, but escape one does. Escape two may even be a misdemeanor. I'm not sure, but either way, I think the reason that he went ahead and charged with escape one to get this high felony is because at that point they can technically charge him with Casey's murder. I mean, Vicky's murder. Because if you are involved in a felony and someone dies that you're with, you can be charged with their murder. So I mean, it's like, I'm not a fan of Casey. Don't even be thinking that. But I'm very much, I think everybody should be treated fairly, and I think they should have a fair trial. I think their punishment should fit their crime, all that kind of thing. I don't give a damn who it is. I still say Charles Manson's was ridiculous. He's not a serial killer, but that's neither here nor there. But as far as with Casey, he has got the short end of the stick in every damn thing he's ever did, really. I mean, he's given the maximum sentence consecutively and all that. The same things he was charged with in 2015. The average person that could hire an attorney would have been out in 10 years, if that. But see, he's got 75 years on that. Okay, now with this, if they can get that felony, that escape one charge to stick, which I don't know how in the hell they can. If his attorney actually steps it up, they can't. But if they can get that to stick, then technically, according to the statutes, they can charge him with her murder too. And I think that's kind of what they're working on, man. I think they're just trying to get rid of Casey. I think he's just a menace and a nuisance to them, and they're tired of messing with him. Because dude's got 142 different mugshots, Did you guys see that where they was still looking for him right close to where they found him when this dude came out and he was talking and telling about the Casey that he knew and he spent time with. And that was pretty interesting, too. This guy knew him pretty well.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she had the gun. I remember in the beginning, a lot of people was like, I think Casey put that gun in her hand. There ain't no way in hell. There's no way in hell. When she got out of that car, when they got her out of that car, she was already posturing. Now, obviously, it wasn't rigor mortis because, well, she hadn't been passed long enough for that. Not that deep into it. She was posturing. Her hands were clenched. It's called a death grip. When you get some kind of a fatal injury to your brain, your body does this thing called posturing, and you will get your fist will like clench up, and your feet will even posture straight out, and you're with your toes down. This is a sign of brain damage, death by brain damage. Whereas if you just die naturally or you're like murdered some other way, but not brain damage, you know what I'm saying? Your body will go through the natural process of rigor mortis and things, decomposition. But if it's brain damage, your body starts posturing in a certain way, and hers was doing that. They said she was still breathing, but that was just her body going through the motions. At that, she was gone. I mean, she was gone when that shot went through her. There's no way Casey would have had time, even if his hands wasn't out the window, not with the death grip she had on that gun. My nephew shot himself in the head when he was, well, a couple of years ago. He was in his early 30s. He shot himself in the head. Same thing happened. The death grip went around the gun, fingers still on the trigger where he had shot himself, and his mom almost could not pry that gun out of his hand. So anybody thinking that Casey did it, no. No. She definitely did it. Intentional, accidental, whatever the case may be. There is even some people out there that think that the police did it. You know. I think she knew he was being railroaded. I do too, Allison. I do. I think that her husband had just passed away. We're all calling him her husband. They was actually divorced.
Ex-husband.
Yeah, they had been divorced for 16 years.
But
But
they grew up together. They were friends for a long
yeah,
time. And she was taking care of him. And then all this happened shortly after he died. Think about it.
yeah,
Casey transferred there in January. Her husband died in February, and then this happens.
yeah, they grew up together and all that, and then he got this addiction problem. Then he got put in prison. He had one of the biggest meth labs in Alabama in the Tri Cities. He was well known as a dealer, and he got busted. He went to prison, and during that time is when she divorced him. And then when he got out of prison, I don't know how long he spent, but I don't think it was long after that he was diagnosed with
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's
Yeah.
and dementia. It kind of runs hand in hand sometimes. And his mother just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, he was like, and you know yourself, dementia patients, they can get very combative. And his mom
Oh,
just couldn't
bad.
do it. Yeah, and she didn't want to put him in a nursing home, and Vicky didn't want him in a nursing home, so he literally moved back in with Vicky. And he lived with her. I think it was the last couple of years of his life, and her taking care of him. And I think she's just one of these kind of people that wanted to take care of people and wanted to help
Your
people.
mic's fading.
Yeah, I think she was just one of these kind of people that just wanted to help people. And what she did was wrong on every level. And as I've said before, if she had it to go over, I guarantee you she would do things differently. But when you look at everything combined, it's almost like, I don't know, it's like she wanted to show Casey that she was going to try to help him or something, but does
She
it
went
not
about
look,
it the wrong way.
yeah, does it not almost look like to y'all that she was wanting to get caught?
Well, being that in the cop's face, yeah, being a cop herself.
I know. And the way she, because, I do feel like that Casey was pretty much just doing what she told him, because like we've said, he's not real intelligent and he is a lower IQ 12-year-old. I think they said whatever. And I think he was following her lead.
Mm, I
Vicky
agree
knew
to some
better.
extent.
Well, Vicky knew better than to drop that damn truck off there at that car wash with those stolen plates on it, Glock in the damn in the console, the Glock lock to her gun,
Yeah, that was dumb.
knowing that the edge was ditched in Tennessee. It's like, I don't know, it was like a game, it was like a map, like a treasure hunt or something. Or Hansel and Gretel, like I said, it's like she was just leaving them little crumbs, like, here's a truck, Tennessee. What do you think about that? And I'm going to leave it here so y'all can for sure see it. Don't forget to look at the cameras because I pick him up. It's so weird. And then right across the road from the cops, she walks straight out there that morning. Come on. Come on. Why aren't they watching social media? I mean, we knew they had had a Cadillac before they knew we knew. That wouldn't happen if I was doing some escape, man.
No kidding.
I would be watching at all times. Are they on us? Are they on to us? But I personally don't think they had a clue when they walked out that motel that they were surrounded. Because they didn't even pick up speed and start hauling ass until they noticed they were being followed. Well, we knew that they were looking for a Cadillac. They weren't even watching the news. They weren't even watching social media or nothing to see if they had been figured out yet. That's weird.
Yes, they did stay in one place way too long.
Yeah, and they planned to stay there even longer than that.
Yeah, because they left all their luggage and everything with their bags full of disguises in the hotel room.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she did. I mean, she didn't have anything to lose, I guess, at that, but she did. But I don't think she thought she did because her husband was dead. Her mother was aging. Her dog was sick. She sold her home.
For 49% of the value that she could have gotten.
I know. I know. I'm talking about.
$90,000 for all that house, that barn, and all that land. That is crazy.
Yeah, insanity. And she took Casey out of the jail on the 26th, April the 26th. Now, in the beginning, that cop or Sheriff Singleton, he was denying that. Well, he's not denying it anymore. It actually did happen. She took him out of the jail by
Wasn't it for
herself.
like 45 minutes that they were
Yeah,
gone or something like that? I think it was like a test run or something.
yeah, 40 something minutes on the 26th. So that's the same day she bought the Ford Edge, too. I don't think he was with her when he bought that. I think
They said it was in another name
it was.
when
It
she
was in
bought
her
the
alias.
Edge. It was in a different name.
Yeah, she bought it in an alias name. What do y'all think about her calling a work person to come and pick her up? That morning she left because her keys were locked in it. Like, they're going to see it. That's how they knew what they were driving so soon. 6 hours to even notice that they're gone. And law enforcement from here to hell is wanting to take all kinds of credit for being heroic and awesome and all this. No. No, all the breadcrumbs that Vicky was leaving you guys, they should have never even made it out of the damn parking lot of Academy Sports. I'm hoping it comes out, Allison, of why Indiana, why Evansville. Now, of course, we have seen some things. There has been some rumors and speculation out there that one of them is his sister lives in Indiana, in Evansville, and something's bad wrong with her, and she was needing a kidney transplant, and he was going to give her a kidney. And when I seen that one, I was like, I mean, how? One, prisoners cannot donate organs, period. And if he was to walk into any hospital, they're going to know who he is. So, but there's going to be some connection with Evansville. There has to be, because that's straight where they headed. And they were going to stay put there. I mean, you're not staying somewhere for 2 weeks just to make a plan. A plan is a day or two. You're not going to stay there 2 weeks and just get real comfortable and cozy, and not 2 weeks across the road from the cops. So there was something with Evansville. And maybe it'll come out later. Maybe Casey will say what it is. Yeah, it's a small town, and the cops there are hell. I mean, they're hell. So why there? That's what her mom or his mom said. His mom said that that's what he told her, that Vicky was going to get him out, get him a good attorney, and fight those charges and have them drop down, and maybe he'll get time served before he has to do all this Connie Ridgway shit. That's what Casey told his mother. His mother had no clue that they were just going to haul ass and escape. I mean, she was shocked. Her mother didn't know that she was even retiring. If she had gotten a good attorney, I think it would, I mean, they could have definitely dropped some of that down. If she really wanted to help him, she would have got him. Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. She had to have known this was not going to end well. And with her saying, let's just get out and run, and her already having the gun in her hand, I feel like it was more her that was wanting to do this whole shootout thing, real honestly. Because, I mean, Casey did immediately surrender. Even one of the officers even said that he was so complicit when they were caught that he pretty much handcuffed himself. And the only thing he could say is, please check on my wife. She shot herself. Check on my wife. And then he said, I didn't do it. Well, I mean, y'all, come on. I'll tell you why he said I didn't do it, or why I think he said that, is because, one, if it's true that he's got this 12-year-old mentality and he's, he's just used to automatically always being blamed, or, you know what I'm saying? And you know how kids are, you call them out on something and they're like, I didn't do it. I think it was probably something like that. If he said I didn't do it, I've still not heard him say that. I've heard him say a million times, check on my wife, but I've never heard him say I didn't do it. But I believe he probably did say that. I don't think she had it planned that long. Allison, what do you think, Nellie?
I don't think she did. I mean, long enough to sell her house and buy cars, but
Yeah, because if she would have had it planned a little longer than that, it looks to me like it would have been a hell of a lot better than what it was. I mean, she was in Kohl's the day before it happened, like shopping in the men's big and tall department. Well, I know Lauderdale's not that big, and look how many people's been in and out of the jail there. A lot of people knew her. So to see her over there shopping in that department, well, that's kind of weird. And then, not to mention the whole adult store. I mean, the woman that owned the adult store, she was looking on the cameras to see what she actually bought. And I have the screenshot somewhere for that, but she said that it was something about the stockings and some nipple clamps.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't I don't know. I don't think it was planned very long at all. If it would have been planned upwards of 2 years, and Vicky being as frugal as she was, because the sheriff said on top of the 95,000 that she got for her house, she also had a lot of money in other banking accounts because she was extremely frugal. She saved her whole life. There's also the possibility that there was an insurance that, from her husband that passed away that she would have been the beneficiary of. So there's honestly no telling how much money she had. Just to be honest, I mean, she could have had triple the $90,000. But they know for certain that it was at least the 90,000 because that's what they have, on a paper trail of her pulling out of the bank. 91,000 actually. But just a few days, before this happened, she went and bought an AR. She bought I can't remember what caliber pistol. She bought another Glock. I mean, she was heavily arming them. She had a little bag of camping supplies, but it really wasn't enough to last very long. Now, if this had been planned for a long time, I believe that she would have had like an RV or even a little trailer up in the woods somewhere down in Bankhead Forest. And I know y'all probably don't know where that is, but you get up in Bankhead Forest, which is right pretty much where they were at. That is that area. You can get lost up in there, and if you don't want to be found, you're not gonna be. So with Casey and him both being from Lauderdale County, they damn well know Bankhead Forest. I mean, it's full of caves. It is very thick. You're not gonna be found there if you don't want to be. And they never brought any kind of search team into Bankhead National Forest that I ever seen. Like I didn't even really see them looking for them, except having social media throw stuff out. And then there was Vicky just kind of leaving them a little trail of exactly where they were at. It's just so weird. He didn't want another murder charge, not that it would make a difference. Yeah, it wouldn't make a bit of difference at that point. The escape makes no difference at that point. I mean, literally, nothing they can charge him with is actually going to change his life unless he can go back with all that shit that happened in 2015 and have it lessened. Then at that point, they can start moving ahead and possibly get some things straightened out. I personally believe that he needs to be in a mental health facility as opposed to a prison. Kind of like Andrea Yates is. I don't think he needs a prison because it's not doing him any good. I mean, he's not going to rehabilitate because his issues are not curable, you know. And now they're controlled with medication. Yeah, I do too, Allison. I just, I can't really put my finger on what the hell she was thinking. This girl was talking her into breaking him out. Once he succeeded in that, then he didn't care. And a lot of people think that, John, I kind of don't think it was his idea. And there again, I'm not defending him whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, and not at all. But there's been too many people that's even said he didn't want out of jail, He couldn't afford his medication out here, and so he had to self-medicate, and he went crazy when he self-medicated. And his attorney said it was so strange with him. Most of his clients is wanting out of jail, where Casey was saying, I don't want out of jail. I can't live in the free world. I don't know how. I can't survive. I can't get my medication. And he wanted to come back to Lauderdale County. Personally, I don't really think it was to escape. I think it was to get food. And I mean, he had got stabbed 3 times in Donaldson. Donaldson, I don't know if any of you is from Alabama, but that's one hell of a prison up in there. I mean, I'm just saying, there is 2 guards right now that just got arrested for murder of 2 inmates. One of the gates was closing on them, and the guards sat there and watched it and pretty much took bets on how long it was going to take to kill them. Didn't do anything. Like, Donaldson Prison is one rough-ass place. It's mostly lifers there, and I'm talking about extremely violent lifers. We've got several prisons here in Alabama, but that's one hell of a prison. Like, that's where they throw on it. Just say, like, with animals, rabid dogs, rabid dogs. That place is hell. That's some shit you see on TV, like Alcatraz. That's a rough prison up there. And it's, I get it's a high maximum security prison, but when you got somebody as big as Casey, like, the initiation and the seniorities, that comes from jumping the biggest guy there. If you jump the biggest guy there and you beat his ass or you kill him, then you're up the totem pole, right? And so Casey's obviously going to be the biggest guy there, but yet at the same time, if he's on his medication, he's the biggest wimp there too. If he's not on his medication, he's batshit crazy. So they're jumping this big 7-foot tall guy that is like, he's not a violent person unless he's self-medicating and not on his medication. Yeah, it's like that Donaldson prison, y'all. I'm telling you, it is. You have to go down. They even have it kind of hidden. Like, a lot of the prisons are, well, just say like Chris Watts's. It's right in the middle of a subdivision, right? I mean, they have them just like, not Donaldson, honey. You got to go down this long damn road. That is a rough ass prison. Like, if I had family there, I wouldn't even go visit. Just look it up. Inmates die there like on the daily. And when he was in Donaldson, he lost way over 100 pounds. He was starving to death. And his mom said he just wanted out of there so he could get somewhere where he could eat. What? That's horrific. Okay, Nellie. All right, sweetheart. There are people everywhere, and it's not really remote. What is not really remote? Donaldson Prison? Oh, it's pretty remote. Are you from Alabama, John? It's pretty. It is a rough ass prison. Google it. It's bad. Kilby's a bad prison too, but it's mostly lifers up at Donaldson. Yeah. You got to be talking about Bankhead, Allison. Are you from Alabama? Bankhead, if you know the area and you have planned, you can damn sure go into Bankhead Forest and you ain't going to be found. If you know what you're doing and get up in there, you ain't going to be found. And that's what I can't understand. Like, if it was planned for 2 years, why didn't she already have something set up in the way back in the, back of Bankhead or even in one of the caves. I mean, you ain't going to be found there. Oh, okay. All right, John. I get it. Get it. Do you have an owl somewhere? I want to barbecue that. Do you have an owl somewhere? Yeah. Do y'all hear my owl? I thought it would be a nice little ambient sound to our night owls live. I mean, us insomniacs and half vamps. We like some nature sounds. Amen, Allison. Even for 2 weeks, like I don't get it. Like he is a career criminal. She is a 17, or actually it was 23-year correction officer. She had been there for 17 years. And it was this bad? Like, really? I swear, y'all, I think she wanted to be caught. I really do. Because there's no way you can make that many mistakes. It wasn't even mistakes. It's like it was planned things. It's like they were wanting to laugh at the cops and say, "We outsmarted you." But Vicky knows you ain't going to outsmart them. Not acting that way. Hang on, y'all. I got to let my dog in. I'll be right back. 30 seconds or 1 minute. Allison, she turned them in on Thursday, the day before they did the escape, so on the 28th. But they were never filed, and she never had the quote unquote. You got to have an interview as well before they can be filed. Any kind of government, state work, or anything like that, you have to have that official interview of retirement, and then everything's filed. And she knew this, but she turned them in on Thursday. So she knew doing that and not doing that interview so they can be filed, then she wouldn't get her pension. So obviously, when she did that Friday, she knew she was not going to be getting her pension and her retirement. Yeah, y'all that's right. Give me a thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. My algorithm is getting a little bit better. But it's still pretty flatline, but it's getting a little better. Some red eye gravy and biscuits, a slice of Jeff Davis pie. I'm good. Y'all like me some red eye gravy and biscuits. I don't know what Jeff Davis pie is. I usually do Edwards pies. I don't know what Jeff Davis is. Girl, don't be talking about cooking breakfast. I'm going to have to figure out where you at, and I'll be up over there now. I'm hungry. I know what I'll do. I'll go in there and crack open that Jimmy Dean chicken and biscuit box and pop it right in that microwave. I'll be good to go. She just didn't care. I don't think she did either. I don't. Something's not right with this, y'all. I mean, I'm serious. Something's just not right. And just to be honest, do any of you think it could have something to do with that whole damn Ridgeway stuff? Because I haven't really looked into the Ridgeway case very deeply, but there's a lot connected to that case from what I've been reading around. Now, of course, I gotta get out there and pull up some transcripts and things like that, but just loosely reading around about it, there's a lot tied to that case. Oh, girl. Damn it. That sounds good. I don't know how long it's been since I had a homemade biscuit, unless you want to call Jack's a homemade biscuit or Hardee's. God, my daddy could make some of the best homemade biscuits. Mama could too, but daddy's were just, oh my God. That sounds good. I know how to make a peach cobbler now. I do know how to make a peach cobbler. You know what I hate making though? Banana pudding. Do y'all know what that is? I know there's somebody in here southern enough to know what a banana pudding is. Like, I hate making that. My husband loves banana pudding. And the only thing I like about it is the wafers. Like, after the custard's over them, I love the wafers. I can't do the bananas in them. No. But I can't stand making it. And it's relatively easy to make. And he loves it, but I don't know why I hate making it so much. It's like, yeah, I will be happy to put the whole Jello instant pudding kind of deal, but no, hell no, that's not how he likes it. You have to make the homemade custard, and whip that meringue up with those eggs and put it on the top. Yes, my husband does that all the time, Allison, and he's like, "Will you make me a banana pudding?" And I'm like, "Hell no, I hate making them. Hate it." Yes, it has to be warm. It's like potato salad. Like, it's supposed to be cold. Like, you buy it, it's cold. You go to the restaurant, it's cold. I don't like it cold. I like potato salad warm too. I don't like it cold. Yeah, mine are too. Mine are ridiculous. Lord, we got off on talking about this about food. Allison done got everybody hungry up in here. That okay? That can go right back to Casey and him. Somebody had to see them hitting the damn drive-throughs, right? They had to be eating. Sure, they were probably getting pizza delivery or whatever, but even with that, people were seeing them. They were being seen. They were not grid on the grids. Now, yeah, they took the back roads up to Evansville, Indiana for a little while. We know they did it long enough to ditch the Ford Edge because that's where they ditched it on the back roads. But I mean, from there, when they got that truck, they could have just hit straight interstate and went. They really were not trying to hide, in my opinion. They just weren't. Just because she had a wig and glasses and he had some shades. I mean, he was wearing short sleeve shirts. I mean, he's sleeved. They didn't even try to cover it up with makeup or anything. And those cameras were pretty obvious there. I mean, they weren't even hidden at that car wash. They were there. And he was just walking around nonchalantly like, oh, hell, it's just any other day. And I'm just any other Scooby Doo out here washing my truck that I'm not washing. Yeah, I'm not washing the truck. I'm just hanging out here in this damn bay. And he didn't even back it all the way up in there. Did y'all notice that? I mean, half the front end was still sticking out of the bay. I left the keys in it because, I don't want you to mess it up trying to crank it. Okay, sweetheart. Well, you go get you some rest, Nellie. I know you have it. That's rough. I know it is. You go get you some rest, sweetheart. We've been here a little over an hour. Yeah, we've been here just a little over an hour now. I'd only planned to go live for about an hour. Listen, y'all are in here. Just to let you know, let me go ahead and it's finally finished uploading. I'm gonna make it public right now, and then I'll get the link so y'all can go watch it if you want to. You should get if you're a member or if you're subscribed over there at that channel, you'll should get your notification. But there it is. I just made it public over there. There's a lot in there, kind of like what we've talked about tonight, but I'm actually showing it. I'm showing footages there. Trying to explain it. There's so much in this case I really didn't even know when I started making that video how I was even going to put it together. From all the questions that I've been getting about this case and the vehicles involved in this case, I was just like, I didn't even know. So I hope you don't get confused watching it. And I've got some pretty interesting footages in there. And, so it's kind of touching on the same thing we have right here tonight. And if y'all notice, we didn't even put our little pictures up here on the screen tonight because Nellie and we just thought the owl with the night sounds was kind of relaxing instead of just looking at a little photo. So let's see. Where is it? They found 6 bodies in the last few days. Yeah, it was they've been washing up, right? They've just been washing up on the shore. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that whole thing there, John. I'm not a big fan of Johnny Depp myself. And I'm damn sure not a big fan of her. She's crazy as hell. I didn't even know who she was. Like, I didn't even know her until this whole thing here came out. I mean, it's a defamation case. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that it's took up the airways like it has. I think a lot of it has to do with the publicity stunt. But yes, Amber Heard, she is batshit crazy. And I do believe that he was an abused man. I really do. I mean, that can go both ways. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It does not discriminate, not on age, not on gender. It doesn't matter. So, yes, I do believe he was an abused man. And I agree with you, Allison. I'm not a fan of him. Like, he has got tons of fans out there and people falling at his feet. I think he's a narcissist as hell, too. I don't care for him. I never have. I think this is almost a case of narcissist meets batshit crazy narcissist. Like, was he abusing her too? Yeah, I believe he probably was. But I think she was probably more so. You know what I mean? He took that to court to expose all this stuff. Can you explain that? I wish I could, John. I'm telling you, I just haven't even been keeping up with that case much. For the simple fact, like I said, number one, I didn't even know who in the hell she was. And number two, I'm not a fan of him at all. In my opinion, he's a narcissistic asshole, and I've never cared for him. And so this whole thing with those two just never ever struck any interest with me at all. I personally thought a lot of it was publicity stunts because, they both was dropped from roles they were playing and things like that. And why would a defamation case be so? I mean, come on. There's a lot of cases out there that I would have much rather had televised all over the world than sitting there listening at these two, right? Yeah, I seen where she did that. I mean, I watched that little clip of that too, John. I thought it was ridiculous. Amber's disgusting. Johnny Depp, in my opinion, is a narcissist. I don't like him. And any of you guys in here that are fans of him, I'm sorry. I'm not, you know, again, everybody has their own opinion, and personally, I can't stand him. I don't know enough about her. I didn't, like I say, didn't even know who the hell she was. And then I actually had to go Google her. I was like, who in the hell is she? Is she a movie star too? Or is she a celebrity? I don't know. And I seen that she was in the movie, I think it was Aquaman. Again, another movie I've never ever watched. So, yeah, I don't know. But watching the little clips of the damn court that I have, she does seem crazy as hell. She's narcissistic as hell, and I think she is abusive. I think it's pretty obvious that she's recording like everything that happens. Like there's some kind of plan behind that. It's like she would, some of the stuff I watched, it's like she would set the recorder up and then she would instigate him to do some shit. It's like she was setting him up. And that's kind of the things that I was picking up on the very little bit that I've watched. People idolize these stars and they're not special. I do. I think it's a publicity stunt. Honestly. I mean, defamation? Seriously? When there is some serious crimes out there and some serious cases that they could be covering, or not only that, come on, y'all. Our world is falling apart in front of us, right? It literally is. Gas prices up almost $5 a gallon. Baby formula extinct, pretty much. Shit's falling apart right in front of us. And then you got some shit like these two on there laughing at each other and talking about using the bathroom. Where is the importance here? Defamation as opposed to what's really happening out there? Come on, this is a cover up. They're giving them all this airtime to cover up the shit that's really happening out there. Because honestly, who cares about these two? Honestly, who gives a damn? You can be quote unquote Team Johnny all you want to be. Seriously, dude could care less. He's a narcissist, in my opinion. I can't stand him. Now I can't stand her either now that I know who she is. Yeah, he got dropped from that Pirates of the Caribbean. She was dropped. They were just like they were getting washed up. It's kind of the way I see it. They were getting washed up. They weren't really getting any roles. And all of a sudden they're like the top. They're trending everywhere. It worked. If this was a publicity stunt, it worked. But it's like Charles Manson with Watergate. They were using Charles Manson to cover up what was really happening with Watergate, Vietnam, and all that kind of stuff. So this whole thing with this debt and stuff, it's covering up what really we're being dumbed down to, and what's really happening in our world is really jacked up. When you've got babies out here, I'm not even kidding. On Marketplace on Facebook, mothers are selling, well, not selling, they're giving. Mothers that are pumping their breast milk, and bottling it to give to other babies, or maybe their mother. Not all women can breastfeed. Some of them just can't do it. And not only that, some infants will not latch on, right? So you got mothers out here pumping their milk and giving it to other women so their babies can eat. Because the formula is not there. That's an issue. To me, that is way more important than Amber shitting on Johnny's bed, right? That's more important. Who gives a damn about them two? They're taking up too much airtime. They're getting free airtime out of this shit. And I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, it is a distraction. It is exactly what it is. And that's what messes with my mind. If there was nothing going on out there, I don't believe that this defamation case would be taking up so much airtime and interest. That we don't even know what's going on out in the real world. There's babies that can't eat, right? gas prices almost $5 a gallon. A loaf of bread over $3. Everything is going up, and except the pay, right? I mean, it's not. We're headed for an economic collapse. I don't even want to get started on politics because that's one of the less known things people know about me. I am very big into politics, but I just don't here. I just don't. Did you know truckload? Allison, I'm glad you said that. I do know that. I do know that. And I didn't want to say it. But yeah, yeah. Truck loads of baby formula are going over to the border for the refugee children. And I fully understand they need to be fed too. I get that, and I want them fed too, for sure. But Mexico can help do something too, right? I mean, come on. Why should our infants over here starve to death? And they were. I mean, we got babies over here that can't eat. Think about the babies up in the NICU, and they can't even get formula. And you got mothers pumping to share their breast milk with. It's sad. But yet they're taking what formula we have and shipping it to the border for the refugees. And I get that. They need it too. But come on, Mexico, step it up. I mean, we're just one country. We can't take care of the world. Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of him either at all, John. I don't talk much about that here because it is, but yeah, I'm definitely no fan. I don't believe it's politics when it affects our life. This is beyond their scope of what they should be doing. These are crimes against humanity. Why aren't they on trial? Amen, Allison. Girl, you know how to say it. That's right. That's right. And it all boils down to government. It does. Our government is a joke at this point. People's not working. Like they're shutting down like Wendy's. They're I mean, even our dollar stores are shutting down like 6 p.m. because nobody will work. Because like they just can't afford to work. Like seriously. That's like where do you go with that? Like if you go to work, like okay, for example, my mother-in-law, she is an older lady, right? She is a senior citizen. She lives in the senior citizen like complex situation where the government pays some of her rent and she pays some of, I don't know exactly how it works, but I know the government helps her on some of her payment, and then her insurance, is like Medicare, Medicaid, or something. And here's the thing, if she was to try to like say, and she did think about it, maybe going to Walmart and being one of those graders. Well, at that point, she would get paid like $10 a week over what the government would allow. And so she would lose her home and her insurance if she went to work. So it's like, it's ridiculous. And that is using her as an example. Now, there's many out there that gets way more of those benefits than she does. But if they went to work, they would make like $2 more and they would lose any kind of benefit they get from the government. So they just come out better not working. What happens when that happens? You don't have people in the plants. You don't have the products moving. My husband's a truck driver. His loads has gotten, you know, less and less because there's no employees to load the trucks to make the products. It's just it works in a circle. Like you got the production workers, you got like Walmart. You go to Walmart, there's like 3 registers open because they don't have employees. Because if people go to work, then they lose whatever benefit the government gives them. But then you have people like us, personally, the government don't give us a damn thing, right? Not anything. But his pay's not going up. So see, it puts the working, I guess, the middle class in a hell of a situation because everything's going up except their pay. Actually, it's even worse than that because, like with the truck driver, the loads are less. I mean, diesel fuel right now is $6+ a gallon. Every time he fills his truck up, it is well over $1,000. And you're talking about this a couple of times a day. Not to mention the wear and tear and all this, upkeep and maintenance on the truck. And when it's not at least leveling out to where you can at least make enough profit to survive, then that's when the truckers has to say, can't do it. And when the truckers stop, I'm telling you, when they stop, America stops. I mean, that's just the way it is. Oh yeah, Allison. So I'm sure the things you're seeing is really like you're really like seeing things that a lot of people's not even comprehending that's going on out there. Scary. It's scary, and I don't see this ending well at all. It's not going to. I think, with China, that's a big issue too. China wants to take over our country. They have for a long time. I mean, you weaken your enemy, y'all. That's what you do. In order to win a war, you weaken your enemy. And believe me, our country is getting weaker and weaker, and that's sad. Oh, I don't want to get into this political talk. I could sit and talk about it for days, but it's really not what I need to be doing here. So did y'all like the owl? Like the little ambient sound of the owl. Do y'all like that? Yeah, Allison, that'd be great. I mean, my sister is so deeply invested in this, and she will call me and she will talk to me about it. And it's yeah, we that would be cool. We need to sit down and talk, and you and my sister would. It'd be great to hear you two talk about it as well, because it's like it's all hidden, and people's not seeing what's actually happening out there. They're just not seeing it, and like the whole thing with the this Amber and Johnny thing, y'all. That's a cover up. Come on. Who cares about a defamation case with two narcissistic celebrities? I mean, who really cares, right? But then it's contagious. Like you go on YouTube and you see all of these channels, that's what they're covering. They're live, that's all they're talking about. It's like, y'all, come on. Don't feed into this. But maybe they're big fans of those two, so whatever, but I think it's a cover up. I think Charles Manson was a cover up for Watergate, and because Charles Manson was on every news, all two news channels we could, that was the available then, and that's all anything was talking about. It was all over the newspapers, but at the same time, what was really happening also behind the scenes of that? You had this whole Watergate scandal. You had going on. There was a lot of stuff going on during that time, like big stuff. But then all media was showing was Charles Manson. I'm fascinated with the Manson case, John, but have always been. I've never understood how he was still till today is known as the most prolific, notorious serial killer. He's not a serial killer. Like he never killed no one, right? Well, it was around the same time. It was going on around the same time, John. Check it out. It was actually even Manson said that they used him as a cover up for Watergate. But he's not a serial killer. Now, another thing that I find ironic is you can just any random person that's not like we are, just true crime junkies, but just any random person, go up and ask them, who is Leslie Van Houten? Who's Tex Watson? And most of the time, a lot of the times, I don't know. I don't know. I think I've heard the name, but I'm not sure. But then you say, who's Charles Manson? And by God, they know who that is. Oh my God, that's that, evil, crazy serial killer. And it's like, no, he's not a serial killer. I don't even know how they gave him the death penalty. He was the mastermind. I get that. He was that. But I don't know. Waco's very interesting. Very interesting, too. Yes. It's kind of like Manson. It's like there's a mastermind that somehow is able to brainwash people. It's insane. And Manson had his family, but Waco, that was huge. I mean, you had families leaving their homes and everything. Oh, wow, Allison, that is pretty interesting. I watched some of the documentaries on it of some of the people that survived. It was so interesting. I just don't see how people can be brainwashed like that. I know it happens. I know it does. And a lot of times, actually, most every time, this whole brainwashing stuff comes from religion. I mean, that is the foundation of how they do it is through religion. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, I just Christian or not, I'm Christian, but I could not be brainwashed to do things like I know I couldn't. Yeah, listen, we're gonna have to talk about some of these cases because Waco is very, very interesting. Jonestown, let's see, Jonestown massacre. That is Waco, right? Okay, wait a minute. There was one where they put on the Reeboks, not the Reeboks, the Nikes, the black Nikes, and they all laid down and they took the pill. And then there was there's the other one, Heaven's Gate. Yeah, Heaven's Gate. There was a couple of them. Waco hasn't been that long ago. I mean, it probably has for a lot of people, but I remember it when it was happening in real time. It was like, what? How does this even happen? Drank the Kool-Aid. How does this even happen? How can people get that brainwashed? I can't comprehend it. I can't wrap my mind around it. Yeah, Heaven's Gate was the Nikes and the Kool-Aid. Didn't they have like a certain amount of money or something? And it's been a long time. I haven't even thought about that case in a long time, but it was extremely interesting. Yeah. Jamestown is not the same as Waco. Okay, yeah. Jamestown Massacre was the guy with, yeah, he had, Waco was the Nikes. That was the one that was really messing with my head. They all laid down, had the Nikes on. I think they had a certain amount of money. Each one of them had a certain amount of money or something. And I need to look back on that case. Y'all done got me. I'm confusing these two. Did you know that Waco church was called Mount Carmel? Yes, those Seventh Day churches, y'all. There's some. I hope no. I mean, if some of you in here is with that religion, I'm not trying to knock any religion, but I'm just saying I've saw so much stuff out of this Seventh Day churches that is just, for lack of a better words, creepy as hell. Yeah, the same one the Wells attended. And there's more. What was it? God, what is her name? Is it Elizabeth Smart? Or was it JC Dugard? Or hell, probably both. The ones that took them were from that church, the Seventh Day churches. Yeah. It may have been both of them, but I know for sure it was one of them. I mean, I don't even know if we have one of those churches here. I'm sure we do, but I can assure you it's not one that I'm going to be bumping up in. I'm just not. Let me get this over here. Hey, Dave, I'm just glad to see you're still with us, hon. I know you're very sleepy too. So I'm just going to cut this off, y'all. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. It's been really cool, really. And anybody that catches the replay, thank you for catching the replay. And hope y'all enjoyed our little owl. I thought he was kind of cool to keep us company instead of just seeing photos. And this is kind of relaxing. So, yeah. All right, all y'all. We will do this again very soon. And I want to thank you all so much. Don't forget about the video I just put over on the new channel. If you want to see anything else about this White case, I got some pretty cool stuff in it. If you can keep up with my here and there and all over the place in it. But you all have a great day today. And until next time, this is Unjustified. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and